People, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. One of the craziest things I've heard pretty recently, and it's basically Chelsea fans going against each other, and I'm talking specifically about the match going fans. The ones who are fortunate enough to be able to live in the UK, live close to the stadium, go watch the game, support the team. Now, look, I think it's a beautiful thing. Honestly, if a lot of us could, we would go to games, but not everyone's situation is the same, right? Not everyone has the ability. But for people to think because they go to matches, they go to games in person, and others are, from other parts of the world, America, Africa, wherever you are, just because you don't go to games doesn't make you less of a fan than somebody else. Just because someone knows the history, and I'm talking they want to be a historian, doesn't make them a better fan than somebody else. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, it was something about the team that made us want to support the team. For most people like myself, when we lived in Ghana, I don't, it's like you have Michael Essien, who's represented and played for Chelsea, but the love for the club just came at a random time when it was just, you just decided this is the team I'm going to support, and then you just went for it. So for others to believe because they know the history better, bro, you want to be a historian, write a book, write a history book, start a history channel. I don't know, something, whatever makes you happy. But just because you go to games and some of us don't, doesn't make you any better. And you realize when you look at the fan bases, mostly Chelsea fans attack most Chelsea fans. Like the time you have to actually support the team, support each other, and talk smack to rivals, we tend to do that amongst each other. And it's like, bro, it's never that deep. These guys don't really know us personally. We're just fans. We're people who love the game. We love the team. And as bad as it is, listen, we're in it because that's just what you do. The love for your club team is just what it is. You don't choose. It chooses you, basically. So okay, so Matthew Harden and the history. So what? Who cares? Like, we just had to pay to go watch games back in the day. Not everybody had the luxury to be able to watch games a lot like that. Some of us had to listen to some games on the radio when we were younger. You know what I mean? Not everybody could have afforded to get all the streaming channels that showed games. If you didn't pay for it, you had to listen to it on the radio. So listening to the radio to watch games and just put in your imagination to it, that should even beat someone who's actually watching the game, because that's how dedicated you are listening to games on the radio. So just proper Chels, thinking because you go to the games and what makes you better than someone. Yo, come on, bro. Do one, man. You can have different perspectives and opinions. You can believe, what, I think this is this and you think this is it, and that's okay. We're not going to agree on everything, but for you to think that just because you watch games you're better than somebody else in person doesn't make any sense. Not everyone in Africa is going to be able to come to Stamford Bridge to watch games, but guess what? They're one of the biggest continents that enjoy the Premier League. You know what I mean? So look, you want to have your piss matches, you do you. You want to be a historian, you want to write a history book, do you. You understand what I mean? If you can sell it, good for you. But don't try to tell people why they're not fans and why you feel like you're a better fan. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is what we want to do. We just want to enjoy our team. Win, lose, we're still here. And another thing is people want to still hold on to these high standards. And I'm not saying I'm not saying don't hold standards, don't have standards. And I'm not even saying let your standards drop. You know what it sounds like? It's like you used to be that guy in high school, right? And you were popular. You were the athlete. You were that guy who got into a lot of social situations, social events. You pulled up to the bar, the bouncer knew who you were to let you in, even though, whatever. And now you're in your 50s, man, and you're still trying to hold on to, that persona that you used to be. And I'm not even saying you couldn't even do that, but it's seasons, bro. Life changes, the sport and the game changes. Right now, we're nowhere near Arsenal. We're nowhere near Manchester City, and we're nowhere near Liverpool. All these other teams who are competing for the top four, I can argue, that's a conversation to be had. But we're not that team on the Roman where we used to win silverware every year. Like obviously, we've gone through, some changes, and we've gone through the worst, right? And it's potentially the worst is yet to come when you hear about the owners, being at loggerheads and going back and forth trying to buy each other out, right? But we ain't that team no more. So you expecting, like, you can have all the expectations you want. You got to deal with the reality and realize, we ain't that Chelsea no more. We're trying to get there, but having those lofty standards and though you're still holding on to a dream that was a long time ago. You could still have some of those things happen in the near future. But bro, just embrace where we're at right now. We ain't that team we used to be. Roman in here no more. We're trying to build a new history, and it's gonna take some time. That's just the reality. So people having all these weird standards and just not understanding our reality is different from like the dreams you have. Bro, reality is we haven't been one of the best teams in the last 3 years. That's our reality, and we have to get back there. But having these expectations, we used to win Champions Leagues. Yeah, we used to be that team. You know what I mean? And we still can be that team, but we're not right now. And it's all we're saying. Just respect where we're at, realize where we're at. And the quicker you realize that, I think the better for all of us. Because you want to keep talking like you're at that table and you're not. We're not there yet. You know what I mean, guys? So that's just one thing I have to say. But today's video, obviously, we didn't get Osimhen, like I've said in another video. 3 games in, I wanted to do something in regards to just predicting how many goals our forwards are going to score. Obviously, we have about 9 forwards at the club right now, so I'm trying to think, with the cup competitions, the Premier League, the Conference League. I think the Club World Cup to come in 2025. I kind of went through these guys and I tried to pick certain numbers that I figured or I felt these guys could potentially hit. Your Sancho's, Noni's, Palmer, Nkunku, Felix. I mean, you already know the forward line we have. So let's just get into it. And we're gonna see how many I get right at the end of the season. And we shall see, honestly. We'll see how many I get right. I might not get it, a lot of them right, but I'd like to think I might potentially. So first one out the hat is going to be Jadon Sancho. I believe, listen, getting him for about potentially 20 to 25 mil from Man United. He has it in him, to be creative, to get a few goals. Again, in all comps, I'm going with Sancho getting about 10 goals, 14 assists. I don't think he's hit, and he has not hit those heights at United in the last couple of seasons. But if he if he turns out to be the player I think he might, then we might actually have something going. And all comps, about 60 games coming this season potentially. I can probably see Sancho getting about 10 goals, about another 14 assists off that left wing. If he's moved over to the right in certain games, I still hope to see his creativity come through. And I believe this will be a decent number for Sancho, hence why I went. So Sancho, 10 goals, 14 assists. I don't believe, do I feel like he might be able to hit that? I'm not sure, but it could happen. You know what I mean? It could happen. Next one now is Noni Madueke. And Season's already started. He has Noni has like 4 goals already. So the tally I've given him, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to hit that. I went with 10 goals, 5 assists. I believe he might even get more assists than this, but I wanted to go for a modest, 15 goals and assists in all comps, which again should be levels these guys should be hitting if we're trying to do a lot better, if we're trying to progress, if we're trying to go up the league table, if we're trying to win the conference league, win a cup competition, you're going to need the contribution. So Sancho was getting us about 24 goals and assists. Madueke another 15. If he can get 15, listen, that would be great for us. That would be great for him. Personal best. Next person out the hat, I'm going with Joao Felix. With Felix, he's one of those guys that not a lot of people believe he can be clinical. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of people believe he can be clinical. But for me, Felix, I've gone for a nice low 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 goals, and assists in all comps. Again, 10 doesn't seem too bad considering the amount of games he might get. The last time he played for us, he got about 6 goals and assists. But I want to see him double that. I want to see him get at least 10 goals, 7 assists. If you look at the forward line, Felix combining with your Palmers, Nkunku's, your Jackson, Sancho, Madueke, Neto. Look, I think he can be a nice addition to the attack. He can facilitate a lot of these guys getting some good numbers. So Felix, 10 goals, 7 assists. I don't think that should be too bad, to be honest with you. And the next one out the hat is going to be Mikhailo Mudryk. And with the Mudryks, right, I kind of went with similar numbers he had from last season. So if you realize how many goals he had, I believe he had about 7, but I've gone 7 goals, 5 assists, about 11, 12 goals and assists. It could be a lot better, but I believe he's not really going to get a lot of game time like that. But I think 7, 5, add a nice little contribution to the team. Whenever you come, you're called upon, you can do something. See, Mudryk has the ability to create some chances, right? But last season, I could have counted on the top of my hand, maybe around like 5 clear-cut opportunities that someone clinical would have put away. Jackson, in particular, was missing some of the chances Mudryk was creating for him. So the season with the guys around him, I believe they're going to be a bit more clinical. I think he gets his nice low goals and assists, 7 and 5. Again, Mudryk should be hitting like around 10 and 10, but the reality is he ain't that guy. So we're just going to have to deal with the realization that he's just going to be one of those guys who potentially might not hit the level that we want him to, Next guy up is Nicholas Jackson. And with Nico Jackson, I want to see major improvements this year. Last season, he got about 20 goals and assists in all comps. But this season, I want to see Jackson get about 20 goals in all competitions and maybe 8 in assists. I believe he can do it. We have more competitions to play in, and Conference League should be an opportunity for Jackson to be scoring goals in that comp. You know what I mean? You get a nice little maybe 14, 15 in the Premier League, and then the other 5 you can make it with the cup competitions and Conference League. So 20 goals, Jackson, we all know, bar scoring goals. He's a good facilitator, a complete footballer in terms of being able to create chances out of nothing, being able to link up with the team, and I believe 28 goals and assists will not be too bad looking at Jackson and what he can contribute. He's already got 2 and 3 games. So at the rate Jackson might be going, get some more confidence in front of goal, we could see him really flourish. And then, hopefully the question wouldn't be if Jackson hits 20 goals and 8 assists, are we going to go get someone like an Osimhen? That would be very interesting at this, if we don't get Osimhen and Jan and Jackson gets these numbers, then we'll see what the ownership team is saying. But next up, we're gonna go with the Ballon d'Or nominee, Cole Palmer, the best player, the best attacker at this club. You know, a lot of people said his goals and assists are going to dry up. I believe this guy's game is going to go to a different level. And you see it right there. Ballon d'Or nominee, Cole Palmer. I expect him to have at least 22 goals, about 18 assists. You know, give me another 40 goals in assist season. And he could do it. That's the beautiful thing. Cole Palmer can do it. He can only get better playing in those central areas. 3 assists in 1 game, 4 GNA against Wolves. He started the season off really well, and I believe he can do it again. So ain't much really to say about Cole Palmer. We already know the kind of player he is, the quality he's going to bring to this team, as he always does. So if there's one person I'm not worried about in this team, it's going to be him. I believe he's going to do the same or close to the same numbers, because that's just how much quality the guy has. So Cole Palmer for me, another 40 goals in the assist season. Let's keep it going. The next person up for me is Pedro Neto. And with this, I want to just preface that you got to take this with a pinch of salt. Neto's never been really clinical, but in this Chelsea team, I'm expecting Neto to at least get me 8 goals, 8 assists. He's definitely gotten more than 8 assists in 1 season. The goals is just something I want to see him, improve on. You're playing in a much better team. They're going to create chances for you. You're going to get opportunities to attack, to finish some of these team moves. Do I think he's going to hit 8 and 8? Maybe the assist part, 8 goals, maybe not short. But you know what? It's a challenge. You know what I mean? If Pedro Neto gets 8 and 8, that's 60 goals, assists for the season. Look, we're going to be sitting pretty. All these contributions help. At the end of the day, we're trying to get top 4 again. So you're going to need the likes of Neto stepping up and doing what they need to do. Next person up is going to be Mark Gill. And I'm not going to lie to you people, I don't expect him to really contribute much. Like, I don't really see him doing anything. So with him, I'm going to go with a simple, 3 goals, 0 assists. I believe most of his minutes are going to come in the Conference League. And this is it. Not much to say. 3 goals, 0 assists. I don't really see him contributing much. I don't see him getting a lot of game time, bar the Conference League and certain cup games. If he gets more than 3, look, we'll take that. The max I see him getting will be like 5, if so much, 6 goals this season. But I wanted to go for a modest 3. I just don't see Gil contributing a lot to this team. And last but not least, this guy hasn't really gotten a lot of game time this season, but with the quality he has, I believe he could do something special. And Christopher Nkunku, last but not least, these are going to be his. I believe Nkunku gets about 15 goals in all comps, 10 assists, about 25 goals and assists. He's already got 2, so he's happy. He's got some ways to go. More importantly, Nkunku has stayed fit this season. So I believe, with the game time, Conference League minutes, cup games, Premier League, Nkunku gets about 8 goals in the league, another, 2, 3 in the Conference League, another 3, 4, 5 cup games. Look, 15 goals, 10 assists. I think Nkunku, this has to be a season to give us some good GNA. And then, again, we'll see if we're going to get Osimhen or we're not going to get Osimhen. But that will really be it. But people, it's been another video. The week has really been kind of slow. But the Premier League season resumes this weekend. So we're going to be back for it. If any madness happens tomorrow, I'll come up. I'll cover it. If this is your first time coming across my video, my content, if you like the video, sub to the channel, like the video, share the video. Interact with it in the comments. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. But like I said, guys, just because you're able to go watch games doesn't make you a better fan than nobody else. We're all here trying to just enjoy the game, man. You're not better than another person who doesn't get to go to games. Everybody has what they got going on, and this might be their outlet. So you do you, other people will do them. And I'll see you guys in the next video.